For this question, finish the three ordered pair solutions and then use those ordered pairs to graph that. So I'm given my table of values. These are my x's, these are my y's, which means I have to do this equation 3 times. And I have to plug in the x for the first one, find what is y. So I have my equation is x minus y equals 4. I replace the x with a 0, so I have 0 minus y equals 4. So negative y is 4. I have to get rid of that negative sign. Remember, you're allowed to multiply anything times 1 and it doesn't change it. So now I can see that I have to divide out the negative 1. What I do on one side of the equal sign, I do on the other. Y is negative 4. Moving to the next one. Again, we have the same equation, x minus y equals 4. This time, though, I have to replace y with 2. So I have x minus 2 equals 4. Add the 2 over. X is 6. Put the 6 in the right spot. Last equation, x is equal to negative 1. Work that out. You have your answer now. So I have x minus y equals 4. Replace the x with negative 1. And then solve. So I need to get rid of that negative 1. There's a subtraction sign in between. It's a negative number, so I'm adding it. Now I have negative y is 5. Y is not alone, it still has that negative sign in there. So I need to divide by negative 1. I multiplied the 1 in there. 1 doesn't change anything, but the negative sign does. So now I have the y alone equals 5 divided by negative 1, negative 5. So now I have my 3 answers, which means I have my 3 ordered pairs. So now I can graph it. Need a little graphing space. So I counted to 10 in each direction, and I counted by ones. So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So I'm taking my ordered pairs. X is 0, y is negative 4. X is 0, y is negative 4. So I count down 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where I want to put my dot. Second one, x is 6, y is 2. So I count in my x-axis 6 places to the positive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I count in the y 2 places in the positive. So 1, 2. Put my dot. Put only one dot down. So that is the only dot that stands for 6, 2. Last one, -1, -5. So that's -1 in the x direction. So that's going in the negatives for the x. And it's negatives for the y. So we're going down into the negatives for the y. Okay, so -1 is right here. Count down to -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be here, where the two lines would meet. My line for the -1, my line for the -5. There's my dot. I've plotted my dots. I still need to draw my line. So I get out some sort of straight edge, and I make as straight a line as I can. Now my graph is done. Go 1 in the x direction, in the positive x direction. So I go over one space here. I know my number, my dot is going to be somewhere along that red dotted line. In the y direction, I go -5, so that's 5 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that my dot that I need to place is going to be along that red dotted line. Where the two dotted lines meet up, I put one dot. So that one dot means both of these numbers. Don't need the dotted lines, so I'm going to get rid of them. Next spot, 0, 0. So in my x direction, I go 0 spaces, so neither left nor right. In my y direction, I go 0 spaces, so neither up nor down, which means I'm going to be at the origin. My last dot that I need to place, -1 for the x. So I go in the negative x direction. +5 for the y, so in the positive y direction. So -1, I'm going in the positive y direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's my dot. I'm not done yet. I still need to draw the line to connect to the dots. Put the arrows on it to say it can keep going. Now I'm done. Complete the table, then graph. Our equation is y equals 1/2 x. So if you had to choose your own numbers for this, a trick to help you figure out which numbers to choose is to look at the denominator of the fraction that's being multiplied by x. So because this is a 2 here, I want to choose x's that are multiples of 2. Because of that denominator there. So here I have 0, -4, and 2. So those are all multiples of 2. Plug in the 0. Y equals 1/2 times 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Next one, plug in the -4. Y equals 1/2 times -4. If you need to, grab your calculator, type it in. -2. And the last one, y equals 1/2 times 2. Again, if you need to, type it in on your calculator. You get 1. Halfway done with the problem. Still need to graph it. So I need my graphing space. Quick look at my numbers. Nothing is over 5, so I'm going to go out 5 on each space, each direction. My first point that I need to graph is 0, 0. So 0 in the x direction, 0 in the y direction, puts it right there at the origin. -4, -2. So my x is -4. So I go backwards 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to be somewhere along that dotted line that I just drew. My y value is -2, so I go in the y negative direction 2 places, 1, 2, and I have this dotted line to represent that. Where my 2 dotted lines meet, 1 dot. Last number, 2, 1, so my x is 2, so I go in the positive direction 2. Get rid of my extra dots here, because I don't need them anymore. So x is 2, y equals 1. My y direction, positive, up to 1. Draw the line to connect the dots. Put the arrows at the ends of the line to say we could have chosen other numbers.